Bum 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 bum.
SHINee's
Bum
back.
bum 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 bum.
SHINee's
Bum
back.
bum 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 bum.
SHINee's back.
Back. Welcome for that hype ass intro, cause guess what? We hype in a world with so much death and destruction. SHINee's back.
Ish.
And we're gonna get into that, okay? So today's episode, welcome to KIANAA Korea, the know-it-all, not at all Korea podcast, where we claim to know a lot, but actually know very little. Welcome. I'm Sebastian.
I'm Danny. Sashel.
And obviously, if you don't know by now, I don't even know if I should tell you. But today we're talking about SHINee and their most recent comeback. What we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, stay tuned. But also what led to this epic showing of love. Because we all, for our own reasons, love SHINee. This is a group that has defined certain types of K-pop for me, and I'm sure for other people, for generations, through generations of K-pop, right? Because technically, I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on this. Pretty sure SHINee, who debuted in 2008, came at the ass end of second generation, early end of third generation of K-pop. So if you don't know what that means, we should definitely do a video on this. Because people who don't know K-pop,
where the generations
people who don't know K-pop probably have no idea what we're talking about. So I'm just going to take a minute to explain
changes in K-pop.
lightly. So K-pop started, and it's been a thing for a little bit, but it's really started in the 90s, where you had groups getting together and like made big performances and stuff like that. You had like Hot and Buzz and all these cool groups that were kind of mimicking or mirroring American hip hop, but also American pop, but then also putting a real Korean spin on it. Some of those early songs, man, get real Korean real fast, which is not a bad thing. But as K-pop has grown, it has been divided into generations of K-pop, not because of the people who are in it, but more because of the sound, like the way that it has kind of morphed over time. We are currently in the fourth generation of K-pop. So a lot of the new groups coming out would be considered the fourth generation of K-pop. However, the popular groups right now, such as BTS, EXO, I would say some even as early as Blackpink, are third generation K-pop. So a lot of the experience that I have with K-pop comes from third gen, because that's when I joined in. That's when I got. So SHINee for me was a little bit on the back end, just because, like I said, it was kind of closer to the older parts of K-pop, and it took genuine SHINee fans to show me the error of my ways and get me into the SHINee.
SHINee.
Yeet.
That's because all you were thinking was ring, ding, 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 ding.
That's so true, though.
Is that all you knew?
That's so.
You were
seriously,
like, what is this?
Seriously.
What?
And I'm actually gonna give this song a shout out in the beginning, because stay tuned. At the end of the episode, we will be giving you our highlighted SHINee songs that we think anyone who's new to SHINee should definitely listen to. And also go on Spotify. We are going to have a playlist that features all of these songs. We're going to add to it every week. So if you want to be a part of that, go on Spotify, check us out. KIANAA Korea, KIANAA Korea on Spotify. So now that that's been said, the song Sherlock, in parentheses, note and clue, is the song that opened my eyes. Ironically, also the song we were singing at the beginning of this episode. Ironically, also the song that SHINee's been using to promote their comeback again. So it's like just the comeback anthem. It's just a comeback anthem, and it is a fantastic song. So if you've never heard it, listen to it. But it was my introduction into SHINee, like my true introduction, because I've been a fan of Taemin, who's a member of SHINee, for a long time as a solo artist, because he's done a lot of solo stuff. And when I found out Taemin was in a group, I was like, oh! So I went and listened to the group, and I was like, what is happening here? Like, this is weird. The Sashel said, ring, ding, ding. I was like, no. I don't know if I fuck with this. At that time, I was way more into rap than I was into like boy groups and stuff. So Sherlock came along, and that chorus, man, if you know what I'm talking about. It sticks with you. It just
It's hard.
sticks with you, right? And I kept getting stuck in my head. I'm like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Then Sasha was like, SHINee. Like, she eventually was just like, dude, how do you not know? How do you like K-pop and you don't know who SHINee is? So unequivocally, I'm going to say this before we get really into it. SHINee is one of those K-pop groups that if they didn't exist, I don't think K-pop would be in the same place. I think it would be a different place. Like, I mean, you can claim this about a
Wow.
lot of groups, but SHINee was hella influential. Also, we'll talk about this later. It's a little bit of a darker note, but
Dang.
SHINee is uniquely responsible for the ending of slave contracts in Korea, which has changed the game completely. It has completely reshaped how K-pop functions, and also in that gave us amazing groups like Big Bang and well, technically they had already debuted,
Oh,
but
yeah, Big Bang was already a
right.
thing.
But I mean, like, you get this amazing freedom from groups where they're no longer being forced to do the things that the company really wants them to do. And although SHINee's company, SM Entertainment, which we will also talk about later, is probably the most controlling out of the big three / big five,
Huh.
it is something to be said that this one group of people in the stuff that they went through could change the
Right.
face of K-pop, could change how companies handled their groups. And we wouldn't, I mean, BTS might not be the same today if SHINee hadn't existed. So if you're a fan of K-pop or not, or you're just a fan of BTS and nothing else, you have to show credit where credit's due. OGs, SHINee, and they are back. What'd you guys think of the comeback?
I'll let you guys start this one off because
Sounds like you
I
guys
have
say the
some
spicy
opinions.
stuff. All right, Danny, as the I think SHINee has kind of come into your scope much more recently.
Yep.
So what did you think of the comeback as kind of a newbie to SHINee?
I mean, double thumbs up, to be honest, which is to be expected.
Right.
We watched "Don't Call Me," the music video,
The second it came out, I was on that, bro.
and I enjoyed it.
Right.
I liked the
That
outfits.
foot dance.
I liked the music. I thought that it was catchy. But I didn't really think that I would go back
Right.
after hearing that song. But
That was a
I
weird
wanted
song
to
to come back, in my opinion. It was a weird song to kind of like push to the front of this
Oh,
album.
I have opinions about that too.
because it wasn't necessarily like real hard or real sweet. It
Right.
was like good.
It was like, hey, I love one of my favorite comments on the video while we were watching it debut was, did SHINee write a song for Sasaengs? Like, did SHINee just straight up write a song for the haters? So for those of you who don't know, go watch episode 3, I think at this point. We talked about what Sasaengs are and what they do, but just a quick recap, they're terrible people who aren't actually fans and who think that by stalking and harassing the idols, they will somehow be rewarded. So those people are awful in the sense that they're online bullies, right? They bully idols. I mean, everyone gets bullied online, I think, some worse than others. But for an idol, when you have these like stress, because they don't take the word idol lightly in Korea, bro. Like right now, as we're speaking, as of right now, the school bullying scandal is running rampant. Like there are so many K-pop idols who are getting put under the microscope hard because of how they treated people when they were kids in school.
Oh.
Because they were considered bullies to kids in school. Bro, my bullies, from some of the stuff that I heard that happened to these kids, my bullies did stuff way worse than that. Like so much worse. So that being said, they don't take the word idol lightly. To be an idol in Korea is to be someone to look up to, generally, okay? So when you have these idols coming out and saying, don't call me, don't text me, I'm done with you. it's kind of easy to point out who they're talking about, right? Like they're not just kind of doing this willy-nilly. Like who are they really cussing out? And it's the people who put too much pressure and too much expectations on these people. They are just people.
Right. So the first song that they're like, guys, this is our new album. It's like, don't call me. Leave me alone. With like a beat in the back. So I was like-
SHINee's back. Don't call me.
I'm like, well, it's good, but I don't know if I'll come back to it. So I still wanted to listen to the full album as I do. So I put it on and I let it play. And the second song after Don't Call Me is a bop.
Right.
So I'm like, cool. And it's very different. The first song is more of a like a party vibe, and the song after it is more ballad,
Right.
more melodic.
It was very unique. And I think that this, I'm going to segue into Sachel and let her talk about this for a minute. Because I think that me and Sachel share this opinion that that album wasn't SHINee all the way through. Like it had hints of trying to modernize in a way that was unnatural in the actual
I
album.
agree.
Yeah. Okay. For me, is the album bad? No.
It's a long one.
It is. But my personal opinion is it's also not great. So there are some good songs,
Right.
which I mean, I don't want to go into like a whole analysis
Yeah, we're not
of
gonna do
the
that.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are some good songs. But I found as a whole the album to me was strange. Considering like everything that I know about SHINee.
Right.
If you told me that this was SHINee, like if you put this album in front of me and didn't tell me who it was, I would never be able to pick up that this was a SHINee album.
Interesting.
Which is
Right.
not some like I look for continuity
Right.
kind of in my artists. Like even if they're changing style, it should still sound like them. Like
Right.
BTS's No More Dreams like still sounds
Yeah.
like BTS.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, in my humble opinion, because you are way more of a, what's SHINee's fandom called? Do you know? I don't know. But you are way more of a SHINee fan than I am. And I agree with you on this just because in K-pop right now, there's a lot of, I don't want to say copying, but just a lot of repeated formulas, right? Like it, and with SM,
Oh, wow. Sorry, I just looked up SHINee's.
what's it
I
called?
just looked up their fandom name and it's Shawwal.
Shawwal?
Shawwal.
I kind of like
SHAWOL.
Shawwal. I'm a Shawwal.
Shawwal.
I kind of like that actually. That's kind of cool.
Interesting. That's interesting.
I
just
don't know
thought,
what it
sorry.
means.
You
Sounds
can
like
continue,
a
but
whale and a shark, or narwhal and a shark made a baby. Like that's what
Shawwal.
Shawwal. But I think that SM is probably the most guilty of this, in my opinion, out of the big three or big five. Let's call them big five from now on. Like, all right,
Yeah.
big top 5 Korean music companies in Korea. SM is the most beat the dead horse out of all of them because you have groups like NCT who has sects, SECTS, not sex. Get your mind out of the gutter. They have sects that are subunits. Let's say that. Let's use the K-pop
I was
terminology.
literally like, do not call them that. I was like, just call them
subunits.
Like,
okay.
That was fun.
So
Who's mad at it?
so
Not me.
NCT, if you guys don't know, is SM's take on a rosterless group where the members interchange
technology.
Right.
Right.
The members change and like they have different subunits where they do different things. So SM to me, the reason why I say this is like they try and push this like hard image. And SM is probably the most guilty of writing for their artists out of anyone that I know. Like SM is, when you talk about factory made K-pop, and I mean a lot of Americans think that's what K-pop is. SM is the reason they think that. Because SM Entertainment has had a long history of not taking their idols serious, like not taking the people that make up the groups seriously. It's a much more about the group than it is about the individuals. And I think that SHINee, to Sasha's point about SHINee's comeback, I think it was rushed. I think that who got out of the military last? Minho? I think Minho got out of the military, and then they rushed right into coming back. Like, I heard about him getting out of the military, and then the week later, their comeback was announced. And I was just like,
wait, what?
yeah, I was like, yo, give the man give him a minute. Give him a chance to breathe. Let him pet his dog. Like, what the hell, man? But that's Korea. They expect a lot out of their idols. You know, they push them real hard. But you can always tell when an album feels kind of forced. You can always. I said this about the last Blackpink album, Blinks. I love you. Please don't come for me. It just felt a little rushed. It felt like
there's a song on this album called "Marry You," which is like traditional boyfriend type style music, but it's just very basic.
Right. And SHINee, I think personally, has earned the right to do what they want. When you're in K-pop, as long as someone like SHINee, you've been through it, and this group uniquely has been through hell. Like, this group as a whole has been through a lot. That's why part of the reason why I respect them so much. Taemin especially, obviously, if you guys don't know, that's my bias. But like they work so hard. They work so hard, and it just like, to me, like, that deserves the time to do it right. But SM is going through, I personally think they're going through it a little bit, because the coronavirus didn't help anyone. I mean, K-pop survived it better than most things, but it doesn't help anyone. Everyone's losing money, you know?
Right.
And, except for maybe like the farms, I don't know. Everyone's losing money. So SM released a super group right before the Rona hit. So like they released Super M before Corona by like maybe a few months. Like oh no, it had to be like almost a year. But still, like, it takes a while.
Was it that long?
I think so. I don't quote me on this, but it takes a K-pop group time. Like, even these veterans, it takes time to gel together. It takes time to create that, because what makes K-pop special is the people who are a part of it. It's the members, it's their crew, it's their fashion. It's not necessarily all just about the music. So when you treat it like that, which SM does, in my personal opinion, you get rushed comebacks. You get songs that don't fit the groups that are performing them. Like, watching Taemin just be like, "Don't call me." Like, to me,
it was a weird experience.
It was
right?
weird. It was weird seeing that sweet, like, butterfly of a man being like edgy. Although his outfit did look good. He looked good.
Yes, his outfit looked so good.
And his attitude.
I will never say he doesn't.
Oh, you froze like this. Oh, the wonders
just
of doing a podcast.
Just holding all your love for SHINee, like, and confusion for Taemin.
It's so true, though. That's a perfect personification of the moment, like, of me watching Don't Call Me. That was the perfect personification. All right, let's let her get back in.
If we all do it, this should be our thumbnail.
A few moments later.
I just think that with the success of Kick It, which was only a success in my personal opinion because of TikTok, because that's where I saw most of, not on TikTok, because I am TikTok adjacent. Like, I've never installed the app before.
You use YouTube to watch TikTok?
Yeah, you see a lot of it on YouTube and on Instagram. So Kick It got a lot of attention because there was a dance that was very popular that went with the song. The song wasn't super bad, but it was like, come on, man, like the song is about beating, like, kick, and it just, like, it had such a, like, the whole music video was like Bruce Lee and punching and kicking, and I'm watching these like 6 foot, 130 pounds wet Asian dudes like talk about how badass they are, and to me, like, it's not necessarily an issue because, like, Michael Jackson been doing that long before K-pop was doing it. It's just weird for the people. It's weird to see Mark going like this. Like, it's weird to see those people acting like that. And I think that the same thing was with the SHINee's comeback. I'm not sure how much of it they had a hand in, but from how it feels, it definitely feels like they didn't really have a choice.
There
like
was a certain extent of them, like, doing something they weren't comfortable with because their company was putting out an image of hard.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird given like what Taemin has been doing with his career recently.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, then to kind of shift gears because I mean, what Criminal just came out and that song is great,
Such a good
and his dance moves are great, but it's a completely different feel.
song. Right.
And if that is who Taemin is on his own, that's probably more like who he is in general.
Right. I agree.
And to shift it to SHINee, where it's a completely different image to what he has been portraying even in the media recently. And you're just like, who is this new person just
Yeah.
because he's in a group? And it just it feels disingenuine to me.
Yes.
Like it felt
150%.
weird. And also, you know, Minho, I love Minho. Okay. He is one of my favorite people
He's awesome.
in general.
He's a funny
Like
guy.
I watched him in the Idol Olympics for like years and he does great. And
Oh yeah.
this year I think he was like on a panel. But either way,
Yeah, he's transitioning into the
he's a
old man K-pop roles, the judging and
yeah,
the
he's still a beast.
Oh yeah.
He's still a beast, okay?
Yes, hilarious
But
man. Like genuinely, I fell in love with him because of seeing him on TV more than anything.
right, like watching like Master Key and something like yeah. Like so
Yeah.
Minho as a person, like now that I have seen him in other contexts, it was also weird watching him doing like
That hard rap that
the
he did.
yeah, it was very strange. Either way, it wasn't that it was bad. It
Right.
was just incongruent with my perceptions of them
Right.
Now I'll say
given like what I know about them right now. Like a lot has changed since 2018 in terms of all of their careers and I
Right.
thought that they would kind of like step up and evolve, but instead they kind of like
Regressed.
devolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, they devolved back into what I think what they thought SHINee should be and then kind of what they thought K-pop should be and like mashed them together with like current K-pop trends, but it didn't mesh
Right.
well.
It didn't seem like shiny. Like I said, it felt like watching an NCT comeback. It felt like it really did feel like that kind of a
they should have let
vibe.
them do their thing, which I'm, in my opinion, is
We don't know that they didn't. That's
I don't know
just
that they didn't.
disclaimer.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
That's true.
We're just
But
guessing.
your guesses would make sense to me because their slow songs on that album are bops. There's a song at the very end that's like super melodic, and Taemin's hitting all these high notes, and the energy is like very emotional and very slow. They killed it. I feel like they were being forced into
Yeah,
trying to be
it was just
hard.
rushed. So like you have some songs on this album that fit. Like that they feel like they took the time and the effort and the energy to make it fit the people. But then there are a couple songs on here that are just like okay, like
Yes.
whatever.
Yep.
When's the last time y'all listened to Kick It? All right. Dude, my most listened to NCT song has 2 members in it. Like out of a 20-something
is
member
it?
group. The Seventh Wonder or Seventh Sense?
7 cents.
Bro,
7 cents is so good.
that song
so good.
is my jam. And then my other one is Baby Don't Stop. And
Literally,
again,
I was just gonna
2
say
people.
Baby Don't Stop is my jam.
It's
and
just 2
it's
people.
literally I love it. The vibe there is so good.
And hearing them whisper into the microphone is kind of like
Right.
mm,
Baby Don't Stop.
right. So like that group is defined by the individuals, but SM forgets that and like just kind of clumps them all together under one thing. And I feel like that's why I'm saying like I don't think that they had a lot to say, was because I think if they some of the songs feel like they did. Some of the songs feel like they were into it. They understood the concept. They really enjoyed the song itself.
Right.
And then some songs felt like, okay, let's go in there, let's sing our lines.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
Get it out. And in K-pop, when you work so hard, you have to understand, like, they work harder than most people on the planet are capable of even conceiving. Like, seriously, these artists, and you know what? Koreans in general, because I'm going to take a shout out to DK just because
Hey.
they are 2 Koreans who take the time out of their lives to try and explain to us like the culture, and
Try to explain Korea to us.
right. And they were
Yes.
talking about going
Thank
to
you.
school at 6 a.m. and then coming home at 11 p.m. And all of that was school. Like I kind of did that too because I was in a lot of sports and stuff.
Yeah, but
But
extracurriculars
that was
like
that was
are different.
all studying and like that's the culture. Like that's just like how they do things. So when it comes to like artists or even like, pro gamers or something, Korea tends to be on top just because of how hard they're willing to work to get there. And
Wow.
K-pop idols are no exception. I would say they're
Right.
probably some of the hardest working people on the planet, right? And when you have people working that hard, it's hard to stay passionate the entire time. It's almost impossible, to expect someone to stay passionate. So when you're shoehorsing these songs in that don't necessarily fit the people, and then you add the exhaustion of the people doing it, it
Mhm.
ends up combining to make a less enjoyable experience.
And you can hear it.
And you can definitely hear it
Right.
and kind of see it.
You
Right.
can also hear when it's going well,
True.
which is why I got into SHINee in the first place, was because I was doing like a K-pop rising search of just like, oh, let's see what's new. I was doing a search of like, oh, new music and just going through all the new K-pop stuff coming out. And I had to stop in my tracks. Cause like the emotion that SHINee is capable of putting into a song, like will actually make you stop what you're doing.
Legit. Like that's why
I agree.
Note and Clue or Sherlock was like such a important song to me because at the time I was not into boy groups like that. Because in America, and this is for the people who don't live in America or aren't really aware of American culture, we see you guys on our analytics. We know you're out there. In American
Thank you.
culture, it's not. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
We love you. Don't die. In American culture, it is not considered masculine to enjoy cute things.
Nope.
It's not considered masculine to be vulnerable with your emotions.
It's actively suppressed.
So when you have, I'm just weird. Don't base that on me. But when you have music that is made from that emotion of like hard work and struggle and like the effort and you can hear it. And in America that's not as prevalent because it's not popular to talk about. It's not popular
And
to
it's
sing
also
about.
not really happening if you
Right.
think about it. Like we're not going to school 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Well, oh yeah, I'm talking mostly about like the cutesy stuff, like the stuff that in Korea, it is much more normalized to be cute and to be seen as cute and to express aegyo, and it doesn't mean that everyone's good at it, but I'm just saying like that's what I was averse to when I first came into K-pop because
Oh.
it seemed against what I was supposed to be. I was young, I was stupid. Okay, stupid. So now, like SHINee being one of the groups that really broke that bubble for me, like not completely. They weren't my cherry popper. Episode 2, go check it out. But it was 100% like my ability like to watch the videos and be like, yeah, they're dressed in light pink and pastel colors, and yeah, they're wearing makeup, and yeah, they're have the bracelets down to here because that was the style back then. But that doesn't necessarily define what they're doing. What they're doing is still badass. Like the cutesy song, badass, because it gets stuck in your head for days. And how hard it is to like get music you don't like necessarily because it doesn't fit like the personality that you imagine yourself, and then all of a sudden you're like questioning everything. Like,
Like, do I like
do
this?
I like this? And I've gotten to a point now where I openly admit, like, that man is sexy. Why is it weird for me to say that? Oh, what are you
It's not.
sexually attracted to him? No,
No.
but
But you
look
deny
at
he's
him.
sexy?
Like how can you not look at Taemin and be like, damn, like that dude knows how to put on a look, like Jesus. And like that SHINee really opened up that world for me. SHINee really allowed me to just be like, you know what? Screw what they look like. Screw what the the girly aesthetics of the song, the feminine aesthetics of the song. I'm gonna listen to it for what it is, a bop. And I think
That's
that this
fair.
new album was surprisingly lacking in that specifically. It was surprisingly lacking in that vulnerability that we're used to seeing from SHINee, and
from Tame.
specifically, again, my bias. I can't.
Just because he's so
Yeah.
different from the vibes that he puts out when he's performing, and they're both fantastic.
Right, but he's a shy boy.
Right.
He's
He's
like
a little
he's
tiny
quiet.
dumpling in
Right.
real life. And then when
Yeah,
he
but
like,
also he has like BDE hard.
Right.
Like-
Right. Right. Give him a silk shirt and he will have all the confidence.
Right.
And
no,
sensuality.
Don't give him a shirt. Why would you do that?
Or
No,
don't.
don't give him a shirt.
See,
Yeah.
see, that's the thing. I'm comfortable because of SHINee. Like, I don't. It doesn't even bother me to say that on a podcast anymore because of groups like SHINee, because of people like SHINee. But I do want to take a moment, while things are light, to talk about something that's technically heavy. But if we're talking about SHINee, we can't not talk about this. Okay. Because a lot of
Let's do
people,
it.
a lot of people who like SHINee and who like support SHINee get asked why. Because as long as K-pop's been around, people are like, why? And SHINee for me specifically, because again, I'm the SHINee, I'm the novice. I'm the SHINee novice out of the group of us here. These two ladies know way more about the group and the songs than I do personally. However, SHINee is important to me because I think without SHINee, specifically SHINee, K-pop will be a much darker place. K-pop will be a much
agree.
harder place. So
Right.
something that and I'm only talking about this because people won't know, and I think it's important to know. But in 2017, Jonghyun, I hope I'm saying that right,
Sounded right.
was one of the members, and he took his own life. And this is not something new in K-pop. Okay, this is actually something, unfortunately, that when you work that hard and when you're pushed that hard, and then again, like not always guaranteed to succeed, it can take that toll on you. And when that happened, it was like a shockwave through the world because 2017 K-pop is starting to become a worldwide phenomenon now. Like it's really starting to get its legs. And for that to happen to one of the most influential groups, one of the most popular groups, raised a lot of questions, pointed a lot of fingers that needed to be pointed. Because up until this point, there was something in K-pop known as a slave contract. Well, it's known as that now. I'm sure they didn't call it that
wasn't at the
back
time.
then. But they started contracting these trainees from when they were too young to actually make this decisions for themselves for 14, 15 years.
For their entire
childhood
childhood and then into adulthood.
Right. And the average K-pop career lasts 4 to 7 years.
Wow.
Like that's successful. Most K-pop groups don't make it out their debut year after, right? So there was this stigma that now people are pointing fingers at specifically SM Entertainment because of their use of slave contracts. And everyone in SHINee was under these contracts. So what ended up happening is a lot of lawsuits went down, a lot of politicking happened, and it ended up becoming illegal to contract a person in the music industry for over 7 years. 7 years was the maximum amount you could contract them for. Which, if you think about
is still
it,
quite long.
right? If you start being a trainee at
So
14,
long.
if you start being a trainee at 14, that means you're 21 when your contract's over. Which you have your whole career, you have your whole life ahead of you at that point. So SHINee, while it was horrible that it happened. It was horrible that it had to happen for this change to take place. But this puts in my mind, in my heart, SHINee as one of the most influential groups in K-pop. And the fact that they're coming back in 2021 is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to see this because again, I'm a K-pop newbie. I'm going on my 2 years coming up soon, and I haven't been around for a lot of comebacks of groups that I love. You know, like the Big Bang comeback was supposed to happen. It didn't happen. I was so excited for that. I've been around for
Yeah.
2 BTS comebacks, like real, like not like continuing,
Yes.
but like like starting over. 2 eras of BTS. I've only seen. So to see SHINee, who I have so much respect for and so much love for as people and as performers, come back despite the fact that it felt rushed and despite the fact there are some songs I don't mess with. I am so happy that they exist, and I am so happy that they are back, baby. I am so hype for the future of this group. I'm so hype to see where their careers go next. I'm also like extremely hyped to see them as individuals start doing stuff because I know Minho's been got bit by the acting bug for years
Mm,
now. Like he's wanted to
yes.
get into
I
that.
have seen him in like I've seen him more um acting than I have seen like and I've been listening to SHINee since Lucifer
Right.
came out. But like to be honest, I have experienced more of Minho in
Right.
the last 2 years just watching, you know, random television things.
Television event. And that's another thing about Korea that if you are not a K-pop fan, I like to take the time to explain quickly because it's not necessarily relevant. But they expect their entertainers to be multifaceted entertainers. Like
True.
they don't just expect you to just be a singer. They also expect you to be funny and to be good at going on shows and be good at presenting yourself and be good at, things that some American artists just literally don't do because they're so bad at it. Like they literally just don't bother because they're so bad at it. But in Korea, it's just again that higher Eastern Asia. I'm just gonna say because not every K-pop idol is Korean. They just
Yeah.
have this higher like standard of work ethic. They have this
Ah,
higher standard of like, if Minho is going to be in SHINee, which already is an amazing accomplishment that very few people in this world get to experience.
yes.
He also has these aspirations to do more beyond that. He also has these aspirations to like continue. And I think as K-pop grows out of Korea in the sense that like it starts to become this global phenomenon, it starts to be more global. I think that that's going to start not necessarily changing, but just start being more basic. They're going to try and force it onto other people. Whereas I feel like SHINee is this glowing representation of all of their members individually, except for the one I didn't know of until today, uh, are multifaceted. Oh, I think Sasha froze.
A few moments later.
To wrap up my point, because I was getting a little long winded there, uh, I think that idols, K-pop idols or idols in general in that part of the world are some of the best at dealing with age, dealing with change. And I think that's why we are kind of on the back end a little disappointed in this album because we are waiting to see what SHINee evolves into next. And to kind of see them regress, as Sashel said, into that like trend of kick it or NCT, like trying to get that hard, edgy music, is kind of not in character because we are ready to see what SHINee moves on to. We are ready to see what they evolve into. We don't want them to just do the same things that they've been doing. Because in Korea, I honestly think that
Right.
like these idols have plans to not just like be a singer, but also like we talk about BTS and what like they could possibly do after they're done giving their freaking souls to make us music. And it you think about it like imagining Jimin as a host of something or imagining Suga having a stream where
Yeah.
he just like makes music and then also talks about his favorite artists and talks about like these things that you kind of like hope for them. Like you hope for the idols that they evolve into what they want to be. And I just
Oh,
want
you
to
mean
see
my
SHINee.
hope that Jin takes over Nexon?
bro. Yeah, he'd probably make some good changes. Yeah, right. But I could see Jin do it. Also, like having like his own cooking show. Like that would be so cool. Maybe not to watch him
Agreed.
cook, but like to watch him eat things that other people cook. He already does that on his YouTube.
He does that.
But I'm
I
talking
love
like
it.
to have that backing behind him where he can travel the world and eat like all, like again, this is it's completely up to them. Like as people, I'm not trying to impose my wishes onto them. But with this specific comeback and why we say SHINee's comeback ish is because I think personally we have yet to see the next step for SHINee. We have yet to see what's coming next.
I agree, but I also think that that has largely to do with SM and kind of
Can't blame the never like you can
contract
almost
that
never
they're
blame the
under.
idols. like,
Yeah.
it's
So
rare
I
to
mean,
blame the idols.
yeah, I just took while you were talking, I took a quick look through their newest albums, writers credits, and there's no songs on
Yeah.
there where
No.
any of the members have writers
Right.
credits.
It's rare for
So,
SM to give credit to their like to even let them be credited on their songs.
right. So if you, I mean, like as much as I am somewhat disappointed, I'm not disappointed in the boys.
Right.
I'm literally
I'm
I'm
here for the
disappointed in
boys.
their management. I'm always here for the boys. They're super talented,
Mm,
like they did what they had to do. It just didn't feel genuine because like what was planned for them. And they did the best that they could in the situation.
right.
But it
And
just wasn't a good situation.
I know this episode's kind of on the shorter end, but I do think that we've kind of talked about everything that we can talk about without beating too many dead horses. But what I
Yes.
want to say kind of moving forward is even though there were some negative connotations, as Sachel so beautifully put, that we're here for the boys. We're here for this crew. We're gonna be good Sharwalls and just wait for them to find their groove again. Because SHINee's back and we are here for it.
I'm here for it.
So if you're new to
Love you,
KIANAA,
Shiny.
love you, SHINee.
Thank you for your music
Thank you so much for your
and your
hard
hard
work.
work.
Thank you for your
sacrifice.
talent.
And if you're new to us here at KIANAA, this is kind of a different kind of episode. We don't usually specifically target one group, but we felt the occasion called for it because we are all such SHINee fans. But then also, if you like the way the conversation kind of goes, go check out our other stuff. Stay tuned for the future because we talk about a lot of different things, not just a specific group, but also, there's certain things that happen in the K-pop world we talk about. We also talk about our journeys as being 3 Americans who got hit by a bus named K-pop, and we are just going for the ride, man. We are just here for it. And, if you're on YouTube, please leave a comment. Tell us what your favorite SHINee song is. Tell us when your first moment of hearing SHINee was, because honestly, that's when I'm interested. I want to hear that stuff.
That's gonna be awesome.
Right?
Yeah, I want to know. I want to honestly, what I really want to know is not just the first time that they heard SHINee, but like the first time SHINee stuck.
Yeah, the first time they fell in love with SHINee.
Yes, I need to
Right.
know.
So, as per this new custom that we're doing, our biggest fan base has been on Spotify so far. So, in accordance with that, we've started at the end of every episode giving a song each that we suggest to new K-pop listeners and old K-pop listeners if you're trying to expand your K-pop knowledge. So, if you head over to Spotify at KIANAA Korea, KIANAA Korea on Spotify, we have a playlist of all these songs, and right now we are going to pick a SHINee song each that we think you guys should definitely hear, whether you're new, whether you're old. Come correct, listen to this song. So we're going to start oldest first, as per Korean custom. Take it away.
Okay. The song I chose is from Odd, the 4th album. And this album was released in 2015. But this song, if you are looking for a party song, if you just want to hear a bop that is just so fun to listen to every time, every single time around, I suggest you listen to View.
Oh,
View. It is an amazing song. It's extra good for like it's good for a shower song. It's
Oh,
good
yeah.
for a party song.
Oh, yeah.
It's good for a I
It's an
need to
all-rounder.
like make dinner, but
Yeah.
or going for a walk, like any occasion except for maybe sleeping. This is the
It's a
song
good
for
song.
you.
And I'm gonna come off that with again reiterating, I am a baby Sharwall. I am a small SHINee fan, but because of this, I don't have necessarily the deepest catalog. So what I thought I would do is I would listen to their newest album, because you should always support. And I picked a song off of the newest album that you guys should definitely check out if you guys are into and not necessarily. It does remind me of kind of an older school SHINee, but with a little bit of a new twist. Code, off their newest album. CODE. The O has a little line through it. It is an awesome song.
It's a bop.
Check it out.
He's a bop.
He's
And
a
then
bop.
I'll add to that
A
a little
bop.
treat for you guys, which is the first song that made me fall in love with SHINee on a deep level, which is Countless. And it's a super emotional love song, but I really enjoyed it for all the different transitions, because the like verse has like this fun upbeat like vibe to it, and
Mhm.
then the breakdown has this like very melodic change to it, and then this like energy starts to build up. There's all this tension. You're like, where are they going with this?
Right.
And then the chorus hits, and it's just this super awesome experience.
I
So
have heard this song
highly
a lot.
recommend it.
Because of she loves that song, and I am telling you, you will probably too. So with that, if you like what you heard today, if you like us, giving you a little bits of our K-pop knowledge, follow us on Instagram. We go by @BuyoPro on Instagram. That's @BUYEOPRO on Instagram. We often do songs of the day and lyrics of the day. So if you're really trying to expand that K-pop repertoire, it's a good thing to follow. And with that, we say, 안녕!
안녕.
사랑해요!
사랑해.
Please come back, because we love doing this and we really want to keep doing it.